This was a couple years ago. It was during COVID, like, well, at the tail end of it. And we were camping up in Ivan Oaks, which is a boundary line road. It's the back way to West Fern Oak Ridge. Um, we were up there camping, and we were kind of having a hard time finding a place to rent. So me and my now husband decided to homestead it out in the woods up there. So we drove up the road to like mile marker 8, got out and looked around. Nothing really there. And then we got to mile marker 9, and it goes into like this huge horseshoe loop, like it was like a staging area for logging at one time, it looked like. And we were like, oh, well, this is where we're going to park the RV and the trailer, and we're going to be right here for a while. So we finished out the rest of the camping season up there, and going to work, just kind of homesteading it. Nobody ever bothered us. BLM came through. They didn't say nothing to us. And then it was the first rain of the spring season after that. And one night I'm laying in the motorhome, and I could hear something running through the forest. And it was big. It jumped on top of our motorhome, shook the motorhome, and like shook me in the bed. And I was like, what was that? So then I can hear my husband and his friend outside trying to cover up all the tools that they've got because it's raining. They're trying to cover everything up with plastic. And they're like, you okay in there? And I was like, yeah. Can I come sit with you guys in the trailer for a little bit? They're like, yeah, sure, come on. What happened? And our friend Justin was like, you know what? That's what woke me up, because he was sitting on the couch in his trailer, and something tried to open the door. But their trailer door was like kind of tricky, and you had to like pull it really hard in order for the latch to pop open. And so he said whatever it wasn't familiar with the handle. So I told him what happened to me. I was like, something just came running through the woods, like as if it didn't know that the motorhome was parked right where it was. And it hit it hard. The next day, we went out, and I was looking around, and in the mud, there were bare footprints in the mud. Not bare paw prints, bare feet. Who is running around in that forest out there with all them blackberry bushes, all the poison oak? I mean, like, barefoot. The foot was bigger than mine, and I wear a size 8. It was way bigger than mine, but it was really thin. So time goes on. We don't really think anything of it. And then every single night, something would come and knock on our motorhome door. There's nobody up there. Just us and the other couple that were living next to us, and that's it. And when these things were happening, all were accounted for. We were all in the same trailer, everything. So it couldn't have been that person or this person out walking around or anything trying to play a joke on us or nothing like that. Then one day, the generator stopped. So I figured, okay, I'm going to go out there. It's just out of gas. Nope, it's got plenty of gas in it. And it was also upside down. How that happened, I have no idea. But there's no way for the generator to have rocked, rolled, or done anything to be able to flip over completely onto its side. Just completely upside down. Somebody would have to pick it up and turn it upside down. So we thought maybe it didn't like the noise that it was making. But a little while after that, it just keeps getting better. We noticed that there were these people that would come up in white trucks wearing like khakis and a polo, and they'd go wandering off into the woods. But you could never find where they went because there was only so many trails, and then it became like where you had to walk along the logs to be able to get anywhere through the forest right there. It's pretty thick. And these guys would disappear for hours and come back late at night, jump in their trucks, and be gone. And they were nicely dressed. They weren't dressed for hiking out in the woods. So it was kind of odd that they were there. And one day, this is kind of scary, a lady pulled up right there with a little boy, maybe 3 or 4 years old. and went into the woods. The next morning, she came out by herself, and we didn't know where the little boy went. So, of course, we reported it to authorities. And I sat out in the woods listening for anything, any kind of whimper, cry, any kind of sound that I could hear that was a child crying for help. And then my friend Anita goes, "Hey, get over here. Look." I said, "What?" She goes, "Look. Do you see that?" And I was like, "What?" And it looked like somebody was standing about 100 yards away with a black hoodie on. So I started taking pictures with my phone and taking pictures of it. And I'm like, "We can see you. What are you staring at us for?" Like, he was totally like watching us. When I zoomed in on these pictures on my phone, the face looked like a dog man. It was just very pronounced lips and eyes, and you could see the face in this photo. It is crazy. Like, we've found all kinds of large bare feet footprints that are like embedded in rock in that area right there. So we pretty much figured out that we kind of like moved in on their spot on accident. And there was never a dull moment up there. And we lived up there for almost a year. And eventually you kind of get used to it. They kind of like they weren't mean or malicious or anything like that. But even to this day, my husband, when we go up to the woods, because we go up there all the time, as soon as it gets dark, he's like, "All right, let's go." We got to go home now. So it's very interesting up there.
Yeah, this is absolutely incredible. Is this Ivan Oaks Campground in Lowell, technically?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I've been looking at a map while you've been talking, and I can see the circular area you were referring to. Yeah, the horseshoe loop is how you said it. Yep, totally got it.
Yeah.
Wow. That's on the backside of Lookout Point Lake, looks like. Okay.
Yep. They've got it blocked off with barricades now.
Oh, really?
Because other people were up there, and they started camping after we moved down, and they were not environmentally like safe at all. Like, they were not clean. They just trashed the place.
Right.
So they closed it down because of that. But you can still go back there.
How close can you
can
get
still
to
hike
it?
back there.
Oh,
you can hike back there. You can walk. Okay. You can walk right back there. It's not that far.
Okay. That's really interesting. So you said you have actual photos of what you were looking at, and it looked more like a dog man than a Bigfoot.
I mean, if it was a juvenile.
Right.
In my opinion, that's what it was.
Okay.
Because we would find like weird little huts, like because there's a lot of dead tree root that are down there along the lake and stuff like that. And like some of the root systems are big enough for you to be able to like make a little fort out of. And we would find them, but like with a tire for a door. And like, I don't know how often you go up there, but there's not a lot of people on that part of the lake. Everybody's down in Dexter and Lowell, down on that part of the lake. Up at Lookout Point, you don't see very many people there. So what child is making these little forts?
Okay, so now we have a second location. So you're saying there's a location around that area called Lookout Point?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, right. Gotcha. So you're referring to the lake itself when you say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's like a dam and then another dam. So there's two different lakes up there, kind of technically.
Okay.
There's a reservoir and another dam. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember driving down 58 on I guess it would be the southern side of the lake. That's wild. Oh, man. Yeah. Okay, I'm definitely got a lot already to look into from this one as well, because that's over by, I mean, that's south of like was it Wineberry or Wineberry? How is that pronounced?
Wineberry, yeah.
Wineberry, because I know there was a big study done. Someone had told me at Sasquatch Summerfest back in the 70s by the university about the Wineberry Wildman sightings by residents there. So I'm trying to get access to that, but I mean that's pretty close to that same area. So I wouldn't be surprised that things are still happening today. So let's talk about this more here, because this is really interesting. So you're saying when you go on the north side of this lake, there's no homes back there. It's just a Forest Service road alongside the lake.
There is, but it's like, I think right before the boat launch is the last property that's a technical address up there. And then everything after that is dirt road, and it's uninhabited. Okay. Well, I mean, there's people living in the woods out there, but
oh, really?
It's pretty much, there's no homes out there.
So you're talking like there's people out there, but it's off-grid individuals?
I mean, like they're way, way like get deep, like further. They're not as close to the lake as you would find. Like, and there's not like, it's not when they say like they're homeless. They're not homeless like you would think they are, like down in the city. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of people. They're more like recluse. Don't talk to nobody, just minding their own business.
Okay. Self-sustaining
kind of people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the kind where you may not want to go looking for them. It may not end well. There might be certain things that are being done back there, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a different place back there.
Okay. That's extremely interesting. I could easily see that happening just from things that I've heard about that area. Now, when you were, you were in that area for a year. Did anything out of the ordinary happen inside of the places you were living in, the trailers, or was it just outside?
It was all just like outdoor. Well, okay. Now, there was one time when our back door, I was having trouble getting it on, but it was like a nice day out and a nice night. So like leaving it off was not a big deal. But I remember waking up one early morning. It was like the butt crack of dawn to something very furry reaching in. And I went, and it ran real quick, whatever it was. And I was like, what was that? Something just tried to reach in right now. And I was like, Sean, wake up. He was like, what? And I was like, something just reached in, and it was freaking hairy. And he was like, okay, whatever, go back to sleep. And I was like, I'm not dreaming.
Oh, wow. So was it reaching through the open door then?
Yeah, it was like kind of like it was reaching. I think there was like a bowl right there or something like that. It was like the dog's food. And at first what I thought it was, the dog going for her dish, but it wasn't the same color. My dog was black and white. This one was like dark sable brown colored.
Okay. Wow. So, I mean, you probably only saw it for a few seconds, I'm guessing, but was it like, you're saying the arm was the size of a dog, or do you have any reference point there?
That's like kind of like, because I was like, waking up because I heard a sound and I figured it was my dog going for her food dish. But when I had my eye cracked open, I was like, and it wasn't like a big old bulgy like gorilla arm. It was more like just a long furry arm. Like you couldn't see skin or anything to it. I couldn't see the hand, but I could see like the forearm and you know what I mean? Like that part of it. But it was pretty, I would have to say like maybe 8 inches round.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it was big.
So yeah.
Where was your dog at that time?
She was hiding with the boys up on the bunk.
Yeah.
And there were times when we were up there and like Abby wouldn't want to go outside, especially if it was dark. She didn't like being outside in the dark. So, and like there would be times where like my boys would be out playing and she would herd them away from certain areas, but I just figured it was her being, mama dog. But now it kind of makes sense that she was trying to keep them away from like certain areas where maybe they were, or maybe one was watching or something.
Oh yeah. It sounds like, she was definitely cluing into something out there. The next day after, or I guess later on that day, were you able to go outside and see if there were any tracks or anything outside that door that was open?
Oh yeah. See, and that's the one thing that was kind of nice about up there. I mean, everything was muddy all the time. So when anything came through, we knew we could find prints very easily. And we did every day. Like there was big ones, there was like wider ones, and there was very narrow ones, and then there was ones that were like just slightly bigger than my husband, and he wears a size 13. So they were like there was different ones. It wasn't just like the same one. It was like a family of them.
Gotcha. And how many toes would they usually have? Were you able to see toes, I guess?
You could see toes, but like I mean, like there was like five,
Okay.
or sometimes it only looked like four.
Hmm. Interesting.
But you could tell that it was a foot and it wasn't a bear. I know what bear tracks look like. I grew up in a part of California where there was bears a lot, and I know what a bear track looks like. These are not bear paws. These are bare feet.